Y'all do know that Slade and Terra are f***ing, right?
He gave me
Let's not sugarcoat it. Terra was a teenager and Slade was a whole grown middle-aged man. He's never escaping those groomer and predator allegations. It's not even allegations at this point. The evidence is right in front of us. The energy he had during the entirety of Teen Titans was all kinds of wrong.
Oh, Slade, stop.
No, Robin. I won't stop. Not now, not ever.
Ooh, with context, this scene is very grapey. What's wild is that Slade is the creepy predator mastermind, but Terra, who is a teenager, is demonized and framed as the person pulling the strings from behind the scenes. However, before I delve into Terra from the 2003 Teen Titans version, we must first discuss the complex and often controversial history of Tara Markov, also known as Terra. Terra made her debut in Teen Titans number 26 back in 1982, and right from the jump, her story was a cocktail of trauma, betrayal, and some of the most questionable storytelling choices DC has ever put on page. We first see her trying to destroy the Statue of Liberty and stealing bags of money because Terra was a brokey. Naturally, Beast Boy, Changeling, that's what he used to call himself back in the 80s, chased her down and dragged her back to Titan's Tower. Once there, Terra opened up about her past. She explained that her parents ruled her homeland of Markovia, but her mother had died giving birth to her. After her father remarried, Terra was raised in the US. Years later, when she returned to Markovia, terrorists kidnapped her father and stepmother. They threatened to kill them unless she used her powers to help with their schemes, which explained why she turned to stealing money. Pretty standard, tragic comic book girl starter pack. With the Titans' help, Terra tracked the terrorists down, only to learn the truth. Her parents have already been killed long before. She had been manipulated the entire time. Enraged, Terra nearly killed the terrorists herself before the Titans pulled her back from the edge. Heartbroken, she accepted their offer to join the team. But things took a darker turn. Soon after, Terra met Deathstroke the Terminator, one of the Titans' most dangerous enemies. After brawling Terra, Deathstroke blows himself up and is presumed dead, which is wild of them to even think. Dude's nickname is the Terminator. You know he's coming back. It was revealed that not only was Deathstroke alive, but Terra has secretly been working with him all along. Even worse, she was in a romantic relationship with him.
I am disgusted.
Let's be clear, Terra was only 16. Slade Wilson, a grown man pushing 50 with kids her age or older. The power imbalance here isn't just glaring, it's blinding. It's disturbing, predatory, and one of the most controversial storylines DC has ever pushed out. It turned out the terrorist kidnapping had been part of Deathstroke's plan from the very beginning. Terra wasn't just an ally, she was his mole, planted inside the Titans to tear them apart from within. So for anyone who's confused, here's what really happened. Tara was the illegitimate daughter of the king of Markovia, the product of a secret affair. To protect his reputation and keep the scandal hidden, the king sent Tara away to the United States, effectively exiling her from her homeland. Growing up with this knowledge left Tara consumed by anger and bitterness. She saw herself not as a daughter, but as a shameful secret her father had buried. When her earth manipulating powers began to manifest, instead of using them to help others, she channeled her rage into violence. Listen, I don't care what nobody says, daddy issues will somehow be a person's downfall. It all later climaxed when Deathstroke's son Jericho used his possession powers against his father and freed the Titans. Terra, thinking she'd been betrayed, flew into a rage, completely lost control of her powers, and ultimately died under the rubble of her own making. No redemption, no last minute rescue, just pure destruction and a tragic, hate-filled death. The original Terra in the comics was a full-blown sociopath. Long before she met Deathstroke, she already built a reputation as a mercenary and killer. In fact, one of her contracts involved assassinating an African king. It was during this mission that Tara met Deathstroke and the two began an affair. Deathstroke saw in her a ruthless partner who matched his own violent nature, and he invited her to join him on a vendetta against the new Teen Titans, whom he blamed for the death of his son. Tara accepted, adopting the codename Terra. Together, they crafted a cover story to disguise her infiltration. They spun the tale that Terra had been a prisoner of terrorists, a victim in need of rescue, making it easier for the Titans to welcome her into their ranks. And listen, Terra despised the Titans and everything they stood for. She didn't see them as heroes, she saw them as pathetic. The idea that they wanted to help people instead of dominating them disgusted her. The whole mole operation wasn't just a job, it was personal. She wanted to watch them die. Now, if you only know Terra from the Teen Titans animated series, you're probably blinking in confusion right now because the cartoon gave her a very different arc, conflicted, manipulated by Slade, and ultimately redeemed when she sacrificed herself to save the team. The show made her sympathetic, the comics not so much. Comic book Terra wanted the Titans dead, full stop. George Perez and Marv Wolfman butchered her character, they said so themselves.
I wanted her to be cute but not beautiful. She looked like a young girl. I gave her a substantial overbite. Her eyes were wide. Her body was slim. She wasn't particularly busty. I wanted her to look almost 11, so that when you see her for the first time wearing full makeup and dressed in a provocative outfit, where you know she's just been in bed with Deathstroke, that it does jab you a bit. Whoa, good God. That little girl's a slut.
Ugh, not them slut shaming a character that they made. Ugh. The show completely skipped over the Slade Terra relationship for obvious reasons, but once you know the comics history, even their subtle little interactions in the cartoon hit way differently. Like,
Don't get too attached, my young friend. I saw her first.
should CPS be called? Even his interactions with Robin is giving very predatory, grapey, old man pedo vibes. Here's the thing that never sits right with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, have Deathstroke groom a teenage girl into a romantic relationship, weaponize her trauma against her, and then later try to market him as some kind of edgy anti-hero. The Judas contract, for all its impact, painted Slade Wilson in the darkest possible colors. This man didn't just have beef with teenagers, he manipulated one, exploited her, and then stood back as she tore herself apart. And yet in later runs, DC tries to pivot him into a sometimes good guy or the torture brooding anti-hero dad figure. Sorry, but you can't have it both ways. If you want him as an anti-hero, you don't get to keep that storyline as canon without it rotting the foundation of his character. She was 16, angry, unstable, and desperate for control over her own life. Deathstroke saw that, poured gasoline on her fire, and aimed her rage at the Titans. Yes, she lashed out. Yes, she did terrible things, but her downfall was about being a villain at heart. It was about being consumed by her own unchecked anger until it destroyed her. That's what makes her story tragic. Not that she was secretly a monster, but that she was a kid who never got the chance to heal. Meanwhile, Deathstroke walked away and kept getting recycled as a complicated mercenary with a code. Now that we covered the mess that was Terra's comic book origins, we're heading towards Terra's storyline in the 2003 Teen Titans, which is one of those rare arcs that manages to be absolutely captivating and deeply frustrating at the same time. For anyone who's forgotten, Slade is the central antagonist of the series and the Titans' arch enemy, and if you're wondering why he's called Slade and not Deathstroke, it's because it's Cartoon Network. It's still a kids show, and they had concerns over the appropriateness for a children's show and trying to avoid the word death in the series, and went with his first name Slade. Slade's character can be summed up in 2 points: grooming children, point 1, and forcing them to become his apprentice, point 2. Yeah, that's his whole brand. He's less mastermind mercenary and more creepy dad with a clipboard full of recruitment strategies.
You should go. Playing with teenagers is about your speed.
Like, did we all collectively forget throughout season 1, we see Slade spend the entire arc obsessively trying to turn Batman's sidekick Robin, the certified demon, into his heir? He stalks him, manipulates him, blackmails him, implants nanobots in his team, and threatens to murder them if he doesn't do what he says. And when Robin finally rejects him, you think Slade will go find a new hobby, you know, be a father to his children. But no, this man clearly doesn't believe in self-reflection. Instead, Slade does what he always does. He goes hunting for his next apprentice. Enter Terra, the unstable new recruit with raw, devastating power and just enough insecurity to make her the perfect target. Terra in the animated series is shown to be more of a lost soul than a sociopath who can't be saved. You know what I always question? Why did Slade pick Terra out of all the potential recruits he could have chosen? I mean, think about it. The guy had access to criminals, mercenaries, and tons of other powered individuals. Like, didn't he hire a bunch of teenagers to kill the Teen Titans? When Terra first shows up in Teen Titans, she's a new kid on the block. Fun, charming, and instantly likable. Within seconds, Beast Boy develops a crush on her. The Titans quickly learn that Terra is homeless. She's been living in caves, showering for the first time in who knows how long, eating anything she could find. She crashes on the couch instead of the available bed that's offered to her because she doesn't want to impose. The show makes it clear she's been struggling alone for a long time. On top of that, Terra's powers are unstable. They flare up whenever her emotions spiral, and she's terrified people will find out. That's why she keeps them secret, pushing herself harder and harder not to mess up, which of course just makes her screw up more. This fear nearly drives her away. When Beast Boy finds her trying to sneak out one night, she admits how scared she is. He reassures her, promising he won't tell anyone about her lack of control. She agrees to stay, at least for now. The next day, though, she's thrown into a brutal training course with the Titans. Like, Terra isn't a beginner hero, she's an amateur at best, so why are we throwing her into this danger room type situation? Despite the pressure, she crushes it, even breaking Cyborg's record. Her success only deepens her bond with Beast Boy. The chemistry between BB and Terra is effective, and the fans ate it up. Then comes the mission. Slade has resurfaced. This is a high-stakes situation. They're dealing with the guy who regularly wipes the floor with Robin and the rest of the team. But when Terra bats her sad eyes at Beast Boy, he decides, sure, why not? You can come along.
You, are you dumb?
What could possibly go wrong?
A few moments later.
Beast Boy, sweetie, be so effing for real right now. I know you're smitten, I know your hormones are overriding your brain, and you're excited that a girl is finally reciprocating your affections, but maybe, just maybe, don't bring the girl who's visibly struggling to control her powers into a life or death mission against your most dangerous enemy. Slade isn't some D-list villain. He's the same guy who soloed Robin, outsmart the whole team, and basically lives rent-free in their heads. Terra needed her ass to stay home and train some more. Instead, she gets thrown into the deep end, and surprise, surprise, it goes sideways. She fights bravely but loses control mid-battle, accidentally causing an avalanche of rocks to bury Beast Boy. She's horrified, paralyzed by guilt, and instead of leaning on the team for support, she does what she always does, run away. To her, she's not just messing up, she's proving every fear she's ever had right, that she doesn't belong, that she's a liability. And in her desperation to fix things, what does she do? She chases after Slade! Alone! The literal worst possible option. This is the equivalent of a Padawan trying to fight Darth Vader. Terra falls straight into Slade's trap, and just like he did to Robin in the first season, Slade is grooming another teenager.
The only thing I've ever groomed is my 2 Persian cats. I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser.
Slade reveals he's been watching her. Why? Why are you stalking a 14-year-old girl?
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, hello, officer. This is grown man stalking a teenage girl. I believe he has ill intentions with her. He knows about her powers, her lack of control, and her insecurities. Smooth and calculating, he offers to help her master her abilities, but his real tactic is psychological. He plants the seed that the Titans will abandon her the moment they discover her inability to control her powers, just like everyone else has. Terra tries to resist, but his words rattle her to the core. Her emotions spiral, her powers flare out of control, and Slade vanishes, leaving her vulnerable when Beast Boy arrives and calms her down. She makes him promise once again to keep her struggles a secret.
You won't? I'm not gonna tell anybody, I promise.
Back at the tower, the Titans officially offer Terra a spot on the team. She's overjoyed until Robin casually says she'll need more training to control her powers. To Terra, this sounds like betrayal. She lashes out at Beast Boy, accusing him of breaking his promise and storms off. And I'm sitting here like, Terra, baby girl, it was painfully obvious you needed more training. Beast Boy swears up and down he didn't snitch, but it's too late. By the time Robin explains that he simply figured it out on his own, Terra is already gone. I swear, the miscommunication trope never fails to frustrate me. Terra's #1 fear is rejection, and the tragic irony is that the Titans were literally doing the opposite. They wanted her, flaws and all, but Terra can't believe it because Slade's manipulation plus her own insecurity have her convinced rejection is unavoidable. And can we talk about the team just letting her walk out? Like, hello? She doesn't have super speed. They could have easily jogged after her and cleared this whole thing up. Raven especially should have been the one to reach out. If anyone understands what it's like to lose control and scare people, it's the girl whose powers are tied to her emotions and who accidentally goes full demon when someone ticks her off. We all remember the Dr. Light situation, right?
You win, I surrender! What's the matter? Afraid of the dark?
But instead, they let Terra spiral alone, which is exactly what Slade needed. The episode ends with Slade creeping ass watching from the shadows, certain that Terra's doubts and insecurities will drive her right into his hands.
Because no matter where you go, every step brings you closer to me.
Not a groomer, just a loser.
Her return episode focuses on her clashing with Raven. Terra's recklessness and desire to prove herself immediately puts her at odds with Raven, who is cautious, skeptical, and unwilling to accept Terra at face value. Their friction leads to several confrontations and moments of mutual irritation, but they eventually learn to cooperate during missions, forming the basis of a working dynamic. Beast Boy provides a helpful perspective, explaining that Raven is just slow to warm up, and Terra begins to settle in with the team. Robin makes it official. She's now a Teen Titan. Even Raven acknowledges that Terra has earned her place. The moment should be triumphant, and it is. But the show plants one final seed of doubt. As Terra lingers in her new room, she stares at the communicator, her hair falling across her face. The shot lingers, foreshadowing her secret connection to Slade. And then a couple episodes later, she betrays them. Here's the betrayal episode. By the time Terra fully integrates into the Titans, she's proving herself in battle, earned their trust, and finally found what she's been searching for: belonging. Beast Boy, always the first to believe in her, awkwardly but earnestly asks her out, handing her a handmade heart-shaped box with a shy "wanna go out?" It's sweet, innocent, and everything Terra craves. Their date starts like something out of a dream. They sneak away into the night, heading out of town for a carefree adventure. Terra takes Beast Boy to an old diner from her days on the run, sharing pieces of her past she rarely lets anyone else see. It feels real, it feels honest, but beneath the warmth, cracks are forming because Terra has always been running from her powers, from her past, from responsibility. And on this night, she's doing it again. While she's off laughing with Beast Boy, the tower is under attack. Terra herself disabled the security system so Slade's army could strike. And get this, she was supposed to lead the attack alongside him. Instead, she bailed, grabbed Beast Boy, and fled, stalling for time. But she's also Slade's mole, and that secret is slowly suffocating her. It slips out in small ways between rides at the amusement park. Terra asks,
"If you knew something bad about me, would you still be my friend? And no matter how horrible it was, you'd still like me, right?"
Yes, I promise, Terra. No matter what.
and then Slade shows up. Of course he does. And I'm just like, Slade, like, don't you have like 3 kids you need to give child support to or whatnot? Like, why are you stalking these teenagers? He interrupts the moment right before Terra can confess, hijacking the night to expose her betrayal in the cruelest possible way. Beast Boy refuses to believe him, until Terra herself admits to it. She's been working for Slade all along. The tower and his friends are under attack because of her. The fallout is brutal. Beast Boy lashes out in shock and heartbreak, demanding to know if she was ever really his friend. Terra, desperate, breaks down. She insists she was, that she is, and that he promised her that he'd always be there for her. She clings to that promise like it's the only lifeline left, but Beast Boy, devastated, throws it back at her.
Slade was right. You don't have any friends.
Yes, I did that.
And rightfully so, because like, hello, girl, you just betrayed him in the worst way possible, and you expect him to keep that promise?
What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
In Beast Boy's perspective, what Terra did was the ultimate sin. But I do understand her situation is far more complicated and infinitely more tragic. She wasn't a cold-blooded villain. She was a scared, manipulated teenager. Slade groomed her insecurities, isolated her, and convinced her he was the only one who could help. It's doubtful she ever knew the full scope of his plans at first, and I'm just like, Terra, baby girl. It's Slade. I feel like Robin and the rest of the team would have gave you a full rundown of all of their enemies. And I'm sure they would have told you right then and there, Slade is always on demon time when it comes to them, that he's always out to kill every single one of them, especially Robin. Me personally, I feel like Terra shouldn't be acting shocked and awe that Slade wants to kill the Titans. That's always been one of his motives. Then I have to remember that Slade is like this IQ mastermind. He wouldn't just tell Terra his full plans, he still wants her to trust him. By the time of the date, Terra is drowning in guilt. She doesn't know how to confess. She doesn't know how to tell anyone that, hey, I did this horrible thing, can you help me? And she doesn't believe the Titans will forgive her if she tried. So she does what she always does when things get hard. She runs away. You know what? This one character trait that Terra has, it reminds me of Blake from Ruby. They are never gonna finish that show, huh? That date with Beast Boy is just another escape, another attempt to delay the unavoidable outcome. Slade knew this. By ripping her mask off in public, he destroyed any chance she had at reconciliation and drove her straight back under his control. And that's the brilliance and cruelty of Terra's tragedy. She isn't just a traitor, she's a victim. Let's not forget that, okay? A frightened, manipulated 14-year-old girl making terrible choices because she doesn't know how to make better ones. Beast Boy walking away is justified, but it also seals her fate. Instead of pulling away from Slade, she's shoved deeper into his grip, angrier, guiltier, and more alone than ever. That's why Terra works. Her betrayal isn't black and white malice. It's messy, human, and heartbreaking. She doesn't just betray the Titans, she betrays herself. What follows is the Aftershock episodes. Listen, Terra hunts down the Titans one by one, exploiting their weaknesses and seemingly wiping them all out. Listen, I don't care what nobody says, the top 3 fights in the entire Teen Titans series is Terra versus Raven. When I first saw that when I was a kid, I was sat and I was rooting for Raven. I was like, beat that ass. I wanted Raven to tear her apart. Raven, forget about your principles, forget about your morals, let that demon out and jump her.
Terra, Raven, traitor, witch.
It's the raw emotional weight of her fight with Raven that left a print on my mind. It is not just a contest of strength, it is a collision of insecurities, projections, and the hidden parallels between two girls whose greatest enemies are not each other, but themselves. The root of Terra's animosity against the Titans isn't simple hatred, it's jealousy. The Titans all have something she doesn't, mastery of their gifts. Raven in particular becomes the focus of that jealousy. Raven's powers are just as volatile, just as dangerous, and yet the Titans accept her. From Terra's perspective, Raven is everything she wants to be, in control of her powers, respected, and secure in her place among them. This is what makes their fight so layered. Both girls are capable of devastation beyond comprehension if they lose control. Terra struggles endlessly for it, while Raven must meditate daily just to keep her powers and emotions in check. The irony is striking. The person Terra envies most is every bit as precarious as she is. Terra taunts her relentlessly, stacking the mental and emotional pressure until Raven finally snaps. To Terra, this proves her point, that Raven, the girl who seemed untouchable, is no better than her. But Terra's understanding is shallow. She thinks Raven has anger issues. She has no idea that Raven is suppressing something far worse, an interdimensional demon. When Raven erupts, Terra's face says it all.
I'm
in danger.
She knew Raven was powerful, but nothing like this. And yet, with Slade in her ear keeping her calm and steady, Terra maintains the upper hand. While Raven lashes out recklessly, Terra, with Slade's guidance, dodges her attacks and even subdues her with little more than 2 rock fists. That moment of smug triumph when Terra sneers,
"Who's in control now?"
is more than bravado, it's symbolic. With Slade at her side, Terra feels like she has finally conquered her ultimate fear, her own lack of control. But the truth is much darker. The fight doesn't prove that Terra has mastered herself, it proves how deeply dependent she has become on Slade. She didn't overcome Raven because of her own growth, but because she outsourced her fear to someone who knew how to manipulate it. The fight isn't a victory of independence, it's a solidification of her reliance. And that's why this clash remains one of the rawest and most memorable in the series. If you disagree on that statement, fight me in the comments about it. The climax of Terra's arc only heightens this tension. In Slade, he really ain't shit. He strips her of her autonomy with a suit that turns her into his puppet, forcing her to fight against Beast Boy and the others. When she finally breaks free, it isn't through some well-earned reckoning, but through sheer emotional exhaustion. Terra's final act of self-sacrifice is undeniably powerful. She renounces Slade and kills him, thank God. The child groomer is finally gone, unleashes her full power to stop a volcanic eruption from consuming the city, and turns herself to stone in the process. The Titans forgive her at last, honoring her with the inscription, Terra, a Teen Titan, a true friend. About a true friend, but okay, you know what, let me not even be messy, let me leave it at that. So roll credits, right? You would think this would be the end of Terra's story. Nope, because then out of nowhere the show undercuts its own ending. In the series finale, Terra is suddenly alive? Question mark? No explanation, no resolution. She may or may not have amnesia, may or may not be pretending, but what's clear is that she wants a normal life. She is done with the superhero crap. She wants to be separated from the Titans, she wants to be separated from Slade, and she definitely wants to be separated from Beast Boy. She's like, listen, I am done with that crowd. Let me be a normal girl, okay? I am not like the other girls. I just want to be normal, please. But Beast Boy is like, no, you bae. He spends the finale trying to convince her to come back, only to be forced to let her go, just as the show itself lets go of Terra's storyline. Which is total BS, because if the show let go of Terra, why did they suddenly resurrect her? It's a haunting note to end on, but also one of the most frustrating narrative rug pulls in the series. Like, I feel like Zuko.
That can't be it. Where's the rest of it?
Listen, no matter how you may feel about Terra, because I know half of the fandom hates her and the other half adores her, Terra's story is one of tragic contradictions. She began as an insecure girl who only wanted a home, a place to belong, and the strength to control the chaos inside her. Slade preyed on those insecurities, twisting her into both victim and weapon, until the very people who gave her shelter and friendship became her targets. The irony is staggering that the girl desperate for love and acceptance was the same girl willing to bury those bonds under rubble if it meant proving she had control. And honestly, that's why I love and adore the 2003 Teen Titans and how they took the Judas contract storyline and completely flipped it into something more layered, more emotional, and honestly way kinder to Terra. In the comics, she was written as a cold, cruel, and unapologetic sociopath. Like, she never lost a wink of sleep portraying the Titans. Honestly, we need to give more props to the show because they did a massive improvement. They made her sympathetic but also redeemable. She wanted to be a hero, she wanted to belong, and that conflict made her betrayal hit so much harder. It made her arc infinitely more heartbreaking because you could see how badly she wanted love and stability, even as she burned it all down. And as for Slade, it will forever be him, alright? The man was literally grooming and manipulating children, and the show didn't even have to say outright for us to know he was a weirdo. Watching him prey on Terra, Robin, and Raven makes my skin crawl to this day. The show made it clear he was a predator, and Terra was his victim before she ever became his apprentice. In the end, she broke free, made her own choice, and went out as a hero. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and notification bell so you never miss an update. And remember that poll I made a couple days ago? I saw a lot of you in the comments so upset that you're not getting a Frollo video. Come on, I'm your girl Tunes. I hear y'all. So I'm going by the order of which character got the most votes. So next week it's gonna be Frollo, then Amber, then Lori. So watch out for those videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!